How are you doing today?
You are too kind, man. I am awesome. I'm excited to be here with you. You're an electrifying person. So it's always good to be in your presence, even if it's digital, virtual.
Thank you, thank you. So I wrote down some questions, man. I know my first time meeting you in person was at a TED Talk event in Andrews, South Carolina, and you spoke about your dreams matter, and you really took over the stage, man. And ever since then, I just wanted to have a conversation with you. And I know when we were backstage in the speaker room, myself, my wife, you, and your son, you were saying some things to me and my wife, and we were like, wow, we were blown away. And we were talking about those things after we left the event. And some of the things that you were saying was like, it's hard to be the first person. So I see that you're in the studio right now. So I'm going to talk about what it means to be the first person with you, but also I kind of want you to explain where you're at and what that means to you, where you're at right now.
All right. Well, again, thank you, man. And I got to tell you, my son and Maurice couldn't stop talking about your talk. We talked about you for a long time. Well, where I'm sitting at right now, and I'm sorry about the noise. I'm right here on Main Street. Is in my studio, and it's something that I have wanted for years. But I was just basically blah blah blah, doing that talking talk. But I wasn't being about it, and so it just came to fruition. August 2019, we actually signed the lease. And right now we're located downtown King Street, and we do workshops. We will be holding our rehearsals for our stage plays. We will actually be shooting segments of short films in here. Wow. We actually lease it out for people that want to do classroom things or anything pertaining to the youth that's educational. So I'm excited. We're also going to get going on our TV show. It's just been so crazy with, COVID-19 and then, I had a health setback, but we're here. I'm happy. I'm excited. And I'm glad to be alive.
Wow. I heard you say some amazing things in there, such as TV show. So that's amazing to hear. What I really want to ask you is, you said that you open up your space to the community. Now, why do you open up your space to the community, and do you have ties to the community?
Oh, absolutely. I love the community. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. Like most people that grew up in Williamsburg County, when I graduated from high school in 1992, I was among the majority that said, I will never come back home. It's so crazy. We're 18 and we think we know it all, right? I came back home in 2003, and ever since I've been on the ground running. Very active in the community, very active. Two things that I love in particular is entertainment and education. I love meshing those together to reach the masses, because I found that that's how you get young people and seasoned people's attention, is through education, through entertainment and education. So the doors are open. We do, some of the events we do for free. We'll allow them to have the building for free, because I believe in community partnering and offering a service. And I know what it's like to want to launch something and not necessarily have the money, right? So resources don't always mean money. It could mean knowing somebody and build a relationship with somebody. So some of the rentals are for free, and some of them we do charge a small fee. But I'm all about the community, whether it's educating or entertaining. Usually doing both at the same time.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I've seen that you've been in some big plays that you've produced and put on yourself. You've been on a couple of movies that I've seen, couple featured films. You've worked with people like Les Brown, Danny Glover, some just amazing people. What has that journey been like for you?
Wow, that's a really great question. I've never been asked what the journey has been like. And that's why I like doing interviews, because it forces me to recall things, as you know, Melqaam, because you're a mover and a shaker, man. You're a game changer. And so, when you're moving and shaking, a lot of times you're reaching new heights and new goals. You oftentimes forget about what's, transpired in the past. And so for me, that was a great thing. I got to tell you, growing up, my favorite movie, I had about 3-4 favorite movies. Of course, the 5 Heartbeats was in there, but definitely number one favorite movie was The Color Purple. And that was the first movie that introduced me to Danny Glover. And so for me, I looked at Whoopi Goldberg, I looked at those other actors in that movie, and I was like, man, they look like me. This is a great movie. I can do that. My childhood dream really is attainable, And so to be able to actually meet him on the set of Almost Christmas, movie written and directed by David E. Talbot, was certainly a dream come true. It was also a testament that if you believe in what you desire and you actually work towards it, you can have it. And I got to tell you, with Les Brown, I think the biggest thing for Les Brown for me was, at the time, I think my son was, he might have been like 6 years old. Mm-hmm. And every night we would listen to Les Brown. I would make him listen to motivational stuff before we went to bed. And he fell in love with Les Brown. And I would always tell my son, I said, one day you're going to meet Les Brown and I'm going to speak on stage in a seminar or conference or something with him. And lo and behold, it came to pass in 2017. But more so than me being on stage, it was just seeing the dream, seeing with my eyes, my son standing with the man who at one time for many years was deemed the #1 motivational speaker in the world. So that was heavenly to me.
Wow. Now, myself and a lot of individuals from the Winsburg County and the state of South Carolina, I'm even going to say all over the world, we deem you the individual that is solely responsible for bringing the arts to Winsburg County, to that region of the world, the region of the state. Now, I want to ask you this. Has it ever been difficult? And what I mean by difficult, you talk about having this dream, but have you ever done this dream without money?
Oh, absolutely. When we first started doing our theatrical stage plays, I remember when I first moved back home, and I would go to different events, whether it was a talent show or something like that, and I see bands playing, I'm like, hey, I'm going to do a stage play, and I want you to play. And they would look at me like, yeah, okay. And it was like year after year after year, I would say that. And then it got to the point where it was like, I'm just going to step out and I'm going to do it, because I learned something called bartering. And I realized that, I may not have had the dollar bill, but I had other things that I could barter with people in order to be able to put the production on. And listen, I don't recommend anybody do this unless you got some serious faith, okay? But I used to launch my shows without having the money up front, man. And the thing that I was so blessed with is God aligned me with people who didn't even require the money up front. They didn't even require a deposit. You understand what I'm saying? Wow. So it was like I was able to put on my shows and then, get the money in and then be able to pay our vendors after the show. Wow. So that's how, and that's how I know I'm walking in what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think a lot of times, if somebody's watching this, a lot of times we say we're waiting on God, but God is waiting on you to move. Actually, I learned this when after colon cancer surgery, the doctor's like, get up and move, because you heal quicker, because when you're moving, great things happen. But when you just lay dormant, you begin to die, both figuratively and literally.
Wow, man. Just so profound, so prolific, man. One of the greats. Is just thank you, man. Just thank you for what you are doing for yourself and for your community, and talking about, doing it without the financial means, but finding another way to do it. Before you were doing stage plays, were you in a different career? What were you doing before this dream actually came true? And if you were in a different career, were you still dreaming about doing what you are doing now?
Man, I've dreamed about this all my life. As far as I can remember back as dreaming, 5 years old, this is all I've ever wanted to do. And so prior to that, I was at the Bureau of Prisons, FCI Winsburg. So I worked at a federal prison. Prior to that, I worked at USDA, rural development, where I was doing home loans. Well, at the prison, I did finances. At rural development, I did the home loans. Prior to that, I was a Marine. So for almost 9 years. So, and then prior to that, I was in high school. Wow. So, and I'm 46 now. And for me, I would be at jobs, and I liked my jobs. At least I would start out liking my jobs. I like helping the people. That never changed. But then it got to a point where I was like, I'm selling myself short, because I don't want to do this. This is not what I was created for. It's not like I'm one of those persons who had to figure out what her purpose is. I've always known my purpose. So I felt like, man, my life is passing me by. And the biggest thing that I was afraid of is that I would die and not live the dream that was put in me, man. And I was just like, no, I don't want that to happen. So going to work began to become a chore. It started to break down my body. I started mentally and physically, I became drained. My body started to hurt. And I was just like, okay, I get it. So in order for me to live, I really got to live.
Wow. Wow. So what was, how did that transition look for you when you went from job to full-time doing what you're doing? Did you continue to work your job and then start working your dream? Or did you just like, I'm done with the job, I'm done with the chores, it's dreams from now on?
I actually went 100% into the dreams, man. It's so funny. It's so funny. I tell people now, if you have a job, though, let your job finance your dream. Don't add extra headache to yourself. People are like, but I don't have the time. Get up an hour early. There's 24 hours in a day. You don't need that much. Well, you do need sleep, but you don't need as much as you think you do. So it was very challenging. But it forced me to hustle. It forced me to work my butt off. It also forced me to let go of a lot of things that I really didn't need material-wise. But not just material-wise, also people, because I realized that if you got people in your life who are not moving in the same direction as you, it can waste a lot of your time. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is because they don't understand when you're like, yo, I got to grind. I gotta write. I got to get the show produced. I got to find sponsors. Oh, you work too much. No, I don't work enough. I'm like years behind and I need to get it. And so some people had to just trickle out of my life because they couldn't understand that process. But it was challenging, but I was up for the challenge. But let me be clear. There were times when I was on my floor, snot bubbles just coming out of my nose. And I'm just like, man, what am I doing? Should I be doing this? Do I need to go back and get a regular job? Wow. And I was like, nah, I can't because I'll be sick. Do I give up on this? And I'm like, no, I can't because I'll really die. If I'm still alive, I'm going to be a walking zombie or something like that. So it was challenging. But one thing I noticed is that when I kept my head down and I kept grinding and kept producing content and kept going and consuming education and connecting with other people and servicing other people, before I knew it, there were people that I didn't even know, some of them I did know, sending resources to me, by way of money or by way of education or by way of a software program that I needed to get to the next level. And I'm talking about programs that cost like $500 and $600. And I'm just like, oh my God, And it was just like little signs like that in times in my life that when I wanted to quit, it was like, no, I can't quit, So I don't know if I answered your question, but the point I'm making is I went cold turkey. It was challenging. I didn't give up, and I'm here today enjoying the fruits of my labor.
Wow. Now you definitely answered the question, and you said you didn't give up, but there were times where you thought about giving up, but you couldn't give up. No. Because people were, placing those resources in your life. And I think that's amazing. And I think that's a true testament of the county and the location that we are both from, of what it means to be resilient, what it means to persevere. And I think you're doing an amazing job with teaching that not only to our community, but to surrounding communities as well. And in addition to all of that, what you are doing because of your dream and you manifesting your dream, I've been able to briefly meet members of your family. So I wanted to ask, how has your dream opened a gateway for your family, and how is your family involved in Sueham Entertainments?
It's so funny. There's 6 of us, siblings, 3 girls, 3 boys. And even beyond my siblings, my cousins and stuff, we support each other. Like if there's a show going on, I'm like, yo, I need you to work the door. or I've written this part in the play and I think you're going to be phenomenal. I oftentimes use my sister, Shanika Hammond Brown, quite often in my productions. And because she has this special character, Beautician Betty. And she really has inspired me tremendously because of the things that she's done. But my family helps me out grossly, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention Maurice Perkins. Oh my God. When I say this dude, he helps me from hearing my whining, because y'all not gonna hear me whine, but he'll hear me whine. And then I don't know if it's whining. I think it's just frustration because I don't whine. I'm a Marine. But he helps me with investing into the projects. He helps me with seeing things that I can't see. This guy has such an acute attention to detail is unbelievable. And he keeps me centered. So my family, I really would not be able to do anything without my family. And last but not least, my children, they inspire me beyond belief because I think it was Les Brown who said, and I want to make sure I get it right. He said, live a life that outlives you. That means leave a legacy. And that's what I intend to do. That's what I'm embarking upon. I'm a grandmother now, and I want my great-great-great-grandchildren to know who Sueham was. Wow. But more importantly, I want them to be able to use the tools and the information that I leave behind and really enrich their lives to just have the best life that they can.
Wow, that's amazing. And you were talking about Maurice, and Maurice is your husband, correct?
Well, we're not married, but it's like, what's that, common law marriage? I don't know.
Got you.
He's like my best friend in the world.
Wow.
We have a beautiful son together, Jackson.
Man, that's amazing. And I remember from the TED Talk that we were having, and with the TED Talk, he was on the cameras and controlling the cameras, and he was making sure like the microphones were placed correctly, and like if the microphones weren't correct, he was like, "Nah, hold on, let me get this where I want it." And I think that's so amazing. And then with your son Jackson, I was able to have a conversation with him through you twice. One when we were both at an Eric Thomas event in Washington, D.C., and then at the TED Talk in Andrews. And we were just talking, and he was telling me that, he has his clothing line, he's into acting and all of these things. And he talks about still being able to be a kid and live his dreams out. And I think that's so true, because I feel as though on mainstream media, we see children doing these amazing things, but yet they don't have a life of a child. So man, just congratulations to you and your family. I think you all are doing an amazing job at making this thing look easy when it's really difficult. So,
what? I got to drop another quote. And my sister and I, we talk about it quite a bit. Shanika Hammond Brown. Listen, all my brothers and sisters, they help tremendously, but Shanika and I are on the business side. And she and I talk about this all the time. And it's a quote from MJ, and I think it's so appropriate now because his documentary that's on ESPN. But MJ says, maybe it's my fault. Maybe I made it look too easy. I was like, oh. And I say that, and I know he didn't say that in an egotistical way, but he did make it look easy to the point where everybody aspired to be like MJ. But not everybody had the work ethic of MJ. And what I'm hoping is that everybody aspired to be their greater selves and have the work ethic and the persistence to actually make it happen.
That's what I'm talking about. And I saw on Facebook that you're actually running for city council. Is that correct?
County council, yeah.
County council, okay, yeah. Perfect. So if you could enlighten us on what that position is and why you're deciding to run for county council.
Well, that position is a part of the governing body for the county. And so and I won't list all their duties, but I'll list some of the main important duties. One of the biggest things that they review and approve budgets. They actually pass ordinance regarding land and regarding businesses that actually come to the county. They're responsible for keeping citizens informed. They're responsible for hopefully providing solutions to citizens' complaints and concerns. They're also responsible for representing the county to other government entities and securing funding to help improve the government. The reason why I'm running is because I really feel like I can contribute in a great way. I have a diverse background, from business to also being in finance ever since I've been 18 years old, whether it was with the United States Marine Corps, with USDA Rural Development, or working at FCI BOP, FCI Williamsburg, the Federal Bureau of Prisons. I've done nothing but manage budgets. There at the prison, I did a $33 million budget. We were never in the red. We were always in the black meaning profit. I always like that, that phrase, black means that you're profitable. And only black people understood that,
Wow.
That's powerful. That's powerful to me. So
I'm writing that down.
yeah, this is cool. And if black people understood that, they would understand their value. And that's one of the things why I did the education and entertainment. But anywho, back to running for office. I want to have a hand in helping to improve the county for everyone. Doesn't matter what you look like, what class you are, what sex you are, what education you have, but everyone that resides within these county lines, I think it's approximately 32,000 residents. And I want to work across the board with other entities, because even though we're a county, we still have other entities like the town of Greeleyville, Hemingway, the town of Kingstree, you've got Lane, Stuckey. These are all different entities, and I want to be a part of a governing body that reaches across the board and works together to uplift Williamsburg County as a whole. I just feel like some new flavor needs to be infused, new ideas and a fresh voice. And I really do believe that I am that person that could bring that flavor to the governing body.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. And congratulations in advance.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I
Yeah.
tell you, and if I could, actually, you're going to be the first person publicly, and I'm sharing it with the world now, I guess. But I sacrificed a lot to do this, and that's because, again, I love people, I love the community, I love our county. But I was in a writing lab with a Hollywood producer, and I actually stepped down from that because I knew that I couldn't do both. I couldn't aggressively pursue this campaign and pursue this seat while I was trying to actually write a script, work in this lab, do pitches, and do the assignments. And so this was something that I applied for last year and got denied, and it got approved this year. So I was all ecstatic, but then it hit me. It was like, I can't do both. So I had to choose. And I decided to choose the people. So
Wow. This is talk about a game changer. This is a whole nother conversation, because up until this point, we were talking about, you and pursuing your dreams and what that has done for you. And to be hearing you say you were actually in the writing lab, you got turned down, now you're back, and this is a part of your dream, and you said no to that. You were actually there, and you said no to that to do this for the people of the place where we're from. Wow, that's amazing. That's
plus I cried.
uh, uh, you know,
I
uh,
cried.
man, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
It was so like when, I tell people, like, I take this seriously because I gave up a really, really big opportunity, but I prayed about it. And I'm going to be honest with you. I moved back home in 2003, and ever since then, I've been writing in my journal that I really want to see Williamsburg County thrive. And I was like, wow, well, I've achieved a lot of the dream that I have as it pertains to stage plays and whatnot. And I can still do that. But I want to do more when it comes to Williamsburg County. And how can I do that? And I really feel like I can have a greater impact by being in office. So I was like, if I have to sacrifice now this lab, for later, it's okay, because it's going to be greater later. I need to get into the office, and then we can still make some things move.
Man, that's congratulations. Thank you on that. I definitely wanted to ask you what's next for sueham, and it's like, wow, man, off the charts. Talk about some amazing things that you're doing. And man, it takes heart to do what you're doing. It takes heart to do what you're doing. So thank you once again. And I would want to end with this. We both have been in situations as far as being hospitalized and basically fighting for our lives. And my idea is for this this interview or this virtual session to touch the lives of many students that may listen to these. I think I'm going to call them the life support conversations.
Ooh.
So if you had to tell someone who's a kid, young adult, entrepreneur, anybody, it doesn't matter their age, if their dreams were basically on life support, what would be the one thing you would say to them?
Ooh, the one thing. Ooh, that's hard for somebody who loves to talk. The one thing. This is what I always go back to when if I'm doubting myself or if I'm afraid, I always go back to this. God gave me the dream. He gave me the desire. He didn't give it to me to taunt and tease me. So therefore, if he gave it to me, that means it can be achieved, no matter what the setback, no matter what the mountain, no matter how low the valley, it is achievable. It's just about how bad do I want it. And then I get up and I go get it.
Wow.
So I say that to anybody that's feeling kind of low right now. If you have that desire, the mere desire says that it's yours, but now you got to go get it.
Wow, Ms. Sueham. Thank you so much, man. It's been amazing, man. It's really a privilege and an honor to be in your presence. My sister, one of my sisters, man, she always talked about you. She continues to talk about you. And she was like, yo, you just got to get around her. You got to get around her. I was like, who is this person? She would send me your videos on Facebook. I'm talking about years ago. And to finally meet you, we're from the same town, but we're both always on the go. And to finally meet you, not only at an Eric Thomas event, but to hear you say, don't worry, dude, we got some big things coming and we're going to work together. And then for us to share one of the biggest stages for our communities together was so amazing. But not sharing that stage, that was amazing to me. What was amazing was the conversations we had backstage.
Yeah.
So, just to have you in the presence, man, because it's going to be hard to get you from here on out. It's going to be hard.
And likewise for you. So listen, let me put my bid in right now. Once we get past COVID-19, please, I got to have you in the studio. Would love to do an interview of you because I want everybody to hear your story. Such a compelling, inspiring story that needs to be heard.
Oh, man. Thank you, man. Thank you, ma'am. I got some plans as well, man, to invite you to offer to you. It's just amazing. I think there are more people in our community doing what we are doing, especially yourself, that needs to voice what they're doing. And I think you definitely have that platform, and you're the bridge builder for us. So we thank you so much.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah, thank you. And
thank you.
Tell the family I said hello, and tell my boy Jackson I said what's up.
Likewise, tell your wife as well.
Perfect. I'm going to end the recording right now.